Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about a simple yet life-altering truth. You're the CEO of your life. Whether you realize it or not, you're sitting at the head of the table, making decisions, big and small, that shape your future. And just like any great CEO, your success depends on your ability to take full ownership of your actions, your vision, and your results. Too often, we wait for permission. We wait for the perfect time, the right opportunity, or someone to tell us we're good enough. But high achievers don't wait, they act. They know that success is not an accident. It is designed, planned, and executed. The moment you truly internalize the idea that you are the CEO of your life, everything changes. CEOs don't sit around waiting for things to happen. They make decisions, take action, and take responsibility for results. This mindset shift moves you from being a passive participant in your life to being the active architect. It's about more than just motivation. It's about accepting full control over the direction, structure, and culture of your life. The same way a CEO would manage a company. Every decision you make, from what time you wake up, to how you respond to challenges, to how you invest your time and energy, is a leadership decision. It's easy to overlook the impact of the small things, but great CEOs know that consistent daily decisions shape the trajectory of any organization. When you start seeing your life as a business, you begin to understand that your daily habits are your operations manual. Your standards are your corporate values. Your goals are your mission. A strong CEO sets the vision. So what's yours? Where are you taking your life over the next 1, 5, or 10 years? Most people drift because they've never taken the time to define what success really looks like for them. They're busy reacting to life instead of intentionally creating it. When you think like a CEO, you no longer move aimlessly. You craft a vision that guides every choice. Your long-term goals become your North Star, and your actions align with that vision. Just like in business, your life needs strategy. CEOs don't hope their company survives. They build plans. They identify strengths, address weaknesses, and allocate resources wisely. That's exactly how you need to operate. Take inventory of your time, your skills, your relationship. Where are you over-investing? Where are you underperforming? The more you understand the mechanics of your life, the more effectively you can lead it. Leadership requires accountability. When a business fails, the CEO doesn't get to blame the market, the weather, or the intern. They own the results. This level of personal responsibility is rare, but it's also the most powerful mindset you can adopt. When you stop blaming external forces and start asking, what can I do differently? You reclaim your power. Ownership isn't about fault, it's about control. And when you take control, you take back your freedom. Part of being a strong CEO is making tough decisions. That might mean cutting out distractions, changing your environment, or walking away from relationships that don't support your growth. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Great leaders know that not everyone will come with them on the journey, and that's your responsibility is to protect the mission. Your mission is you, your growth, your peace, your progress. You also have to build a strong board of advisors. CEOs don't succeed alone, and neither should you. Who are the people influencing your thinking? Who do you surround yourself with? Are they challenging you, encouraging you, holding you accountable, or are they keeping you small and stuck? Being the CEO of your life doesn't mean doing it all alone. It means choosing who belongs in your inner circle and making sure they align with your vision and value. Finally, a CEO is always learning. They read the reports, they study trends, they seek out mentors. Your growth cannot be left to chance. The minute you stop learning, you stop leading. Take ownership of your personal development with the same intensity a CEO approaches quarterly growth. Invest in books, courses, conversations, and challenges that expand your thinking. Because the more you grow, the more capable you become at leading your life with excellence. Success doesn't begin with talent, education, or luck. It begins with ownership. Until you accept full responsibility for where you are and where you're going, nothing truly changes. Ownership is the foundation of transformation. It's the shift from "why is this happening to me?" to "what am I going to do about it?" The moment you take that mental leap, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the creator of results. Ownership means recognizing that your current reality, good or bad, is the sum total of decisions you've made and actions you've taken. It's not about blaming yourself or feeling guilty. It's about understanding your power. Once you embrace the idea that you've played a role in getting to where you are, you also realize you have the power to create something better. That's not criticism, that's empowerment. That's the birthplace of real growth. Many people resist this idea because it's easier to point fingers. It's comforting to believe that external forces are holding you back. The economy, your upbringing, your boss, or even timing. But the truth is, as long as you put responsibility in someone else's hands, you also put your future there. Ownership strips away the excuse. It forces you to be honest with yourself. And while that honesty can be uncomfortable, it is also the beginning of freedom. When you fully own your life, your language changes. You stop saying "I can't" and start saying "I haven't figured it out yet." You stop saying "they won't let me" and start asking, "how can I make it happen?" Language matters because it shapes belief, and belief shapes behavior. Listen closely to how you speak about your challenges. Is your vocabulary empowering you or limiting you? Ownership demands that you talk to yourself like a leader, not a victim. Ownership also applies to your goals. If you want something, you have to own every part of the process. The research, the grind, the setbacks, the adjustments, and the persistence. You don't get to just want the outcome, you have to own the inputs. That means showing up when it's inconvenient, being resourceful when you hit walls, and holding yourself accountable without waiting for someone else to do it. Success isn't a handout. It's a contract between your potential and your discipline. Another part of ownership is emotional responsibility. You may not control what happens around you, but you absolutely control how you respond. If someone disrespects you, you can choose. If life throws you a curveball, you can choose resilience. The most powerful people in the world are not those who control others, but those who control themselves. Emotional ownership is a game changer because it allows you to respond instead of react, to lead instead of blame. True ownership also means recognizing when you're the problem and being mature enough to fix it. Maybe it's your attitude, your habits, or your priorities. Sometimes we sabotage our own progress without realizing it. Owning that doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. Because once you see it, you can shift it. The most effective leaders constantly audit themselves. They don't waste time justifying failure. They analyze it, learn from it, and grow stronger. At its core, ownership is a decision. It's the decision to stop waiting and start doing, to stop blaming and start building, to stop surviving and start leading. The minute you decide to own your life fully, everything changes. Not all at once, but over time, consistently. And once you've experienced the freedom and clarity that come with that level of responsibility, you'll never want to live any other way again. One of the greatest lies we've been conditioned to believe is that we need someone else's permission to go after what we want. Whether it's chasing a dream, changing careers, starting a business, or reinventing ourselves entirely, we wait. We wait for approval, validation, a sign, or someone to tell us we're ready. But here's the truth. No one is coming to give you the green light. You don't need permission to live your life on your terms. You only need courage. The world is full of talented people sitting on the sidelines because they're afraid of stepping on toes, getting it wrong, or being judged. But progress belongs to the bold, not the perfect. The longer you wait for the stars to align, the more you delay the success that could already be in motion. Most breakthroughs don't come after permission, they come after action. When you take that first step, you create momentum, you build confidence, you stop waiting and start leading. Waiting becomes a habit. First you wait for support, then you wait for clarity, then you wait until Monday, until next year, until the kids are older, until the fear goes away. But the fear doesn't go away, you just get stronger. And time keeps moving whether you act or not. Every day you hesitate is a day someone else with less talent but more initiative gets closer to the life you want. The winners are not always the smartest. They're the ones who move. You don't need a degree to learn. You don't need a title to lead. You don't need applause to grow. The most impactful people in the world gave themselves permission to start. They didn't have all the answers. They just made a decision. I will figure it out on the way. That single mindset separates the dreamers from the doers. Permission doesn't come from others. It comes from your personal standard. If it's aligned with your values and vision, that's all the validation you need. And yes, when you stop waiting, you will make mistakes. You will stumble. You will face criticism. But guess what? So does everyone else. The difference is, you'll be out there learning and evolving, while others are still sitting on ideas they never acted on. Taking action doesn't guarantee success, but inaction guarantees regret. You were not built to play small. Playing small does not serve the world. Hiding your potential doesn't make you humble. It makes you invisible. This mindset shift also applies in your daily life. Waiting for someone to notice your effort, waiting for a manager to promote you, waiting for the right time to have a hard conversation. Real leaders initiate. They raise their hand, they speak up, they build their own tables when they're not invited to sit at one. The habit of hesitation is dangerous because it breeds frustration and passivity. Break that cycle by taking control of what's yours to create. Permission seeking often masks fear. Fear of being wrong, fear of standing out, fear of being seen. But leadership means being visible. It means showing up even when you're unsure, even when the path isn't clear. Bold action builds clarity. Every time you step forward without approval, you build trust in yourself. And trust in yourself is the foundation of confidence, resilience, and power. Stop asking the world if you're enough. Decide that you are and act like. The truth is, no one has your exact vision, your passion, your perspective. No one can live your life for you. If you wait for permission, you risk living a life built on someone else's standards. So stop waiting for the nod. The door isn't going to open for you. You have to kick it down. Give yourself the authority to start where you are with what you have. Because when you stop asking for permission, you start leading with purpose. Think about the most successful businesses in the world. They don't run on impulse, guesswork, or luck. They run on vision, structure, and intentional strategy. Your life should be no different. If your life was a business, would it be profitable? Would it be growing? Would it have a clear mission and direction? Or would it be drifting, reactive, and underperforming? Designing your life like a business means stepping back, taking control, and building systems that move you toward your goals with purpose. Every business starts with a mission, why it exists, and what it stands for. In your life, that mission is your why. What do you value? What legacy do you want to leave behind? What kind of life are you committed to building? Without a strong mission, you'll chase trends instead of building something meaningful. You'll confuse activity with progress. Designing your life starts by defining your values and building a mission that aligns with your deepest conviction. Once your mission is clear, you need a vision, a detailed picture of where you're going in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and beyond. Just as a CEO would map out a strategic growth plan, you must outline your ideal future. Where do you want to live? What kind of work lights you up? What level of health, income, and relationships do you want to experience? When you articulate this clearly, you shift from vague ambition to focused execution. Vision brings direction, and direction turns effort into result. After your mission and vision are locked in, the next step is goal setting. A business has KPIs, key performance indicators, milestones, and targets. You should too. Set clear, measurable goals for every area of your life: health, finances, relationships, career, personal growth. Break them down into quarterly, monthly, and weekly benchmarks. Track your progress. Adjust your strategies when necessary. This is how leaders think. They don't just hope, they measure and manage. Every successful business has systems, repeatable processes that create efficiency and predictability. In your life, systems are your habits, routines, and environment. A solid morning routine is a system. Weekly planning is a system. Managing your energy and nutrition is a system. Systems don't rely on motivation, they run on consistency. When you systematize your life, you reduce decision fatigue, increase discipline, and create space for high-level thinking. Just like any company, your life will face setbacks, surprises, and seasons of turbulence. That's why businesses have contingency plans, risk management strategies, and adaptability built into their culture. You need that same level of resilience. Things won't always go according to plan, but when you've designed your life intentionally, you're not thrown off course. You simply reroute. You pivot with purpose instead of panicking. Leadership in business includes people, mentorship, delegation, collaboration. In your personal life, that means curating your circle. Who's on your team? Are the people around you pushing you forward or pulling you back? No thriving company grows in isolation, and neither will you. Design your life to include people who challenge your thinking, support your vision, and elevate your standard. The quality of your network will always impact the quality of your results. Finally, businesses reinvest in growth. They don't spend every dollar, they allocate resources to scale and innovate. Likewise, you must invest in yourself, your mindset, your skill set, your physical and mental well-being. Personal development is not a luxury, it's your competitive advantage. Every book you read, every seminar you attend, every uncomfortable but necessary conversation you have, that's your version of reinvesting in future returns, because your life, like a business, must evolve or it falls behind. The most successful people in any field, business, sports, art, or leadership, have one trait in common. They think long-term. They make decisions not based on what's easiest now, but on what will pay off in the future. A long-term mindset is the ability to delay gratification, see beyond the moment, and commit to the bigger picture. Without it, life becomes a series of short-term wins, followed by long-term regret. With it, your progress compounds, and your goals become inevitable. Thinking long-term doesn't mean ignoring today, it means using today intentionally. Every action you take right now is a vote for the future you're building. Do your current habits serve the life you want in 5 years? Are your daily decisions aligned with the person you're becoming? Short-term thinkers chase comfort. Long-term thinkers chase purpose. They understand that discipline now creates freedom later, and that struggle today plants seeds of success tomorrow. This mindset affects every part of life. In your career, it's the difference between choosing a quick promotion or building deep expertise. In your health, it's the choice between skipping a workout or staying consistent, because you value long-term vitality. In your finances, it's the discipline to save and invest instead of spending impulsively. Every choice becomes a strategic investment when your eyes are fixed on your future, not just your feelings in the moment. A long-term mindset also brings clarity. It helps you avoid distractions disguised as opportunities. You stop chasing every shiny object because you know exactly what you're working toward. You don't need instant praise because your validation comes from progress, not approval. You become less reactive and more intentional. While others scramble to fix short-term problems, you're building systems and solutions that will keep working years from now. But here's the hard truth. Thinking long-term can feel lonely. The rewards aren't immediate. People may not understand why you're saying no to things they say yes to. While they're playing now, you're building. But that's exactly what sets you apart. You're not living for the weekend. You're designing a future that won't require escape. Your sacrifices today aren't losses. They're leverage. You're not missing out. You're setting up a life others will wish they had the courage to create. Long-term thinking also builds emotional stability. When you're focused on the big picture, small setbacks don't shake you as much. You can take a loss without losing momentum. You understand that progress is messy and growth is not linear. A failed attempt doesn't mean the vision is broken, it means you're learning. This mindset helps you respond with perspective, not panic. You don't give up on the goal, you just adjust the approach. Another powerful result of a long-term mindset is patience. Not passive patience, but active patience. The kind that works steadily while trusting the process. You're not in a rush to arrive because you've fallen in love with the journey. You know success built on shortcuts is fragile. You'd rather build slowly and solidly than quickly and carelessly. Long-term thinkers play the infinite game. They're not after a moment of applause, they're after a life of fulfillment. To truly adopt a long-term mindset, you must define what success looks like in the long run. Who do you want to be in 10 years? What do you want your life to feel like, look like, stand for? Once that vision is clear, reverse engineer it. Ask yourself what needs to happen this year to move closer. Then break it down, this month, this week, to let your daily grind be driven by your future, not your mood. Because when you think long-term, every day has purpose. In a world that chases quick wins and overnight success, the real power lies in something far less flashy. Habits. Hype fades. Excitement wears off. Motivation dips. But habits carry you when nothing else does. They are the quiet, consistent systems that shape your identity, your direction, and ultimately your destiny. If you want to build a strong life, you don't need more inspiration. You need rituals that keep you moving long after the mood has left. It's easy to get fired up at the beginning of a new goal. The vision is fresh, the energy is high, and everything feels possible. But success doesn't come from that first spark. It comes from what you do the 97th day in a row, when nobody's watching and the excitement has worn off. That's the day that counts. That's where the separation happens between those who chase hype and those who build systems. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. Habits are how you vote for the person you want to become. Every time you wake up early, read instead of scroll, train instead of complain, or choose discipline over comfort, you're reinforcing a new identity. You're saying, this is who I am now, and identity is everything. When you lock in habits that support your vision, success stops being an event and becomes a lifestyle. You no longer have to force yourself. You simply follow your blueprint. But here's what most people get wrong. They try to do too much, too fast. They wait until they're overwhelmed with guilt or motivation, and then attempt to overhaul their entire life. Overnight. That never lasts. The key to building powerful habits is starting small and staying consistent. One change, one commitment, one non-negotiable. Small wins repeated daily turn into massive transformation over time. Focus on momentum, not intensity. Your habits are not just actions, they are systems, and systems beat goals every single time. A goal is something you aim for. A system is what gets you there. You can set a goal to be healthy, but if your daily system is junk food and inconsistency, it won't matter. You can set a goal to be wealthy, but if your system is impulse spending and no plan, it's just a dream. Habits create the infrastructure for your future. If your life isn't changing, your systems need to. You also have to protect your habits. Environment matters. Triggers matter. The people you surround yourself with matter. Don't try to build strong habits in a weak environment. Set yourself up to win. Put your gym clothes out the night before. Block your distractions. Track your progress. Make it easier to succeed than to slip. Discipline isn't about willpower. It's about design. Design your day so your habits are automatic, not optional. Understand that building habits is a long-term investment, not a short-term thrill. The benefits don't always show up right away, but every rep counts. Every step compounds. Just like investing money, the earlier and more consistently you deposit, the greater the return down the road. Most people quit before the results arrive. But if you stay consistent long enough, the day will come when the results are undeniable and you'll realize you didn't need hype, you just needed habits. Finally, make your habits identity-based. Don't just focus on what you want to achieve, focus on who you want to become. Instead of saying, I want to write a book, say I am a writer. Instead of saying, I want to run a marathon, say I am an athlete. When your identity is tied to your behavior, it's no longer about forcing yourself. It's about being yourself. You build a life you don't need to escape from, because it's aligned with who you've chosen to be. Habit by habit. The moment your life begins to change is the moment you stop blaming, stop making excuses, and take full responsibility for where you are and where you're going. It's not about guilt or shame. It's about ownership. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you are 100% responsible for how you respond, how you move forward, and what you choose to do next. Responsibility is not a burden. It's your superpower. Because once you own your results, you unlock your ability to change them. Too many people give away their power by waiting for external change. They blame their past, their parents, the government, the economy, their boss, or even luck. But blaming keeps you stuck. When you point the finger, you hand over the keys to your life. The truth is, life is not always fair, but it is always responding to your actions, your mindset, and your level of responsibility. When you say I am responsible, you reclaim control. You move from victim to lead. Responsibility doesn't mean everything is your fault. It means everything is your opportunity. You may not have created every challenge in your life, but you are responsible for what you do with it. You get to decide whether to stay down or rise, whether to learn or complain, whether to adapt or break. The most powerful people don't wait for perfect circumstances. They create progress in spite of them. They refuse to outsource their destiny. When you take full responsibility, you stop waiting for someone else to fix things. You become the initiator. If your relationship isn't working, you look inward. If your finances are a mess, you get honest and take action. If your health is off track, you don't blame the calendar or the food industry. You make a new plan. That's the inner CEO at work. A leader doesn't wait. They lead, and the first place they lead is themselves. Taking responsibility also means refusing to lie to yourself. It means no more soft excuses, no more pretending, no more saying I don't have time when what you mean is I'm not prioritizing it. No more I can't when the truth is I won't. When you start telling yourself the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, you open the door to real lasting transformation. Self-honesty is the foundation of self-mastery. This mindset will change your relationship with failure too. When you take responsibility, failure is no longer something to fear. It becomes feedback. You stop taking setbacks personally and start using them professionally. You ask better questions. What did I miss? How can I adjust? What's the lesson here? This level of thinking keeps you evolving, not just reacting. It keeps you in motion, even in the face of adversity. One of the most freeing truths is this: if you are responsible for your life, no one can limit you. Not your past, not your circumstances, not your critics. People can doubt you. Life can test you. But as long as you are willing to take full ownership of your next step, you are unstoppable. You don't need perfect conditions. You need personal responsibility. That's the mindset that turns ordinary into exceptional. Finally, taking full responsibility builds confidence. Why? Because you trust yourself. You know that no matter what happens, you won't wait around for someone else to save you. You'll figure it out. You'll rise again. You'll learn, adapt, grow, and lead. That inner trust is magnetic. It's the energy of someone who knows they are in charge, not because life is easy, but because they've chosen to own every inch of it. Your environment is not neutral. It either sharpens you or softens you. The people you consistently surround yourself with will either raise your standards or slowly lower them. Whether you realize it or not, you're being influenced. That's why if you're serious about taking ownership of your life and goals, one of the most powerful decisions you can make is to intentionally surround yourself with growth-minded people. Those who challenge you, inspire you, and hold you accountable to your potential. A growth-minded person believes in possibility. They don't see failure as an identity. They see it as a stepping stone. They don't gossip, complain, or coast. They pursue, reflect, and stretch. When you're around people like that, their energy becomes contagious. They speak the language of solutions, not problem. They don't let you shrink. They push you to expand. And sometimes what you need most isn't more motivation, it's a conversation with someone whose standards ignite yours. Too often people stay stuck, not because they lack talent or ambition, but because they're surrounded by others who normalize mediocrity. They settle because everyone else is settling. They play small because no one around them is playing big. But when you consistently spend time with people who are driven, focused, and forward-thinking, you start to adopt their mindset. You become more courageous, more intentional, more aligned with progress. Proximity truly is power. Think of your circle like a boardroom. If you were the CEO of your life, who would you bring to the table? Who would be your advisors, your partners, your mentors? Would they challenge your thinking or just confirm your comfort? Would they elevate your execution or enable your excuses? You owe it to yourself to audit your circle, not with judgment, but with clarity. Ask yourself, does this person bring light, growth, and momentum into my life? And keep this in mind, being around growth-minded people doesn't always mean finding millionaires or elite performers. It means connecting with people who are hungry, people who are committed to progress, who read, who think, who ask real questions and chase real answers. They might not have all the results yet, but they are committed to the process. Those are your people. Those are the ones who make you better just by how they live. It's also important to understand that proximity is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, and digital. Who are you listening to? What voices fill your mind? What messages are you absorbing through books, podcasts, conversations, and content? If you spend more time with negative narratives than empowering ones, it's going to show in your beliefs and behavior. You have to guard your choose content that grows you, people who stretch you, and spaces that nourish your ambition. Surrounding yourself with growth-minded people also means being one yourself. You don't just find great people, you attract them. When you commit to your own growth, you naturally draw others on the same path. You speak the same language. You rise to the same rhythm. You start having deeper conversations, higher standards, and mutual accountability. Your circle becomes a reflection of who you're becoming, and your presence becomes a catalyst for others as well. Finally, remember this: your environment sets the tone for what's possible. It creates the space for elevation or the conditions for stagnation. That's why surrounding yourself with growth-minded people isn't optional. It's essential. You may have big goals, but if your circle isn't aligned with that vision, you'll constantly feel tension and resistance. But when the people around you support, challenge, and celebrate your growth, everything accelerates. Success becomes the norm, not the exception. Absolutely. Here's a powerful and uplifting ending for your speech on the inner CEO, taking ownership of your life and goals, tying together the key themes, and leaving the audience with clarity, purpose, and a call to action. So here's the truth. You are already the CEO of your life. Whether you've been acting like it or not, you make the decisions. You set the standards. You control the direction. And the moment you accept that role fully, everything begins to change. Not overnight, not without effort, but with consistency, clarity, and courage. You don't need permission to take ownership. You don't need perfect conditions you don't need anyone else to believe in your vision before you do. What you need is a decision, a firm, unshakable decision to lead your life from the inside out, to choose growth over comfort, purpose over distraction, and action over excuse. Your goals are not waiting for more time. They're waiting for more leadership from within. You already have the tools. You already have the instinct. Now it's about stepping into that next version of yourself, the one who takes radical responsibility, builds unshakable habits, surrounds themselves with excellence, and thinks long-term like a true leader. The inner CEO isn't a fantasy. It's your future if you're willing to own it. So don't wait for a better moment. This is the moment. Take the reins, build the vision, run your life like it matters, because it does. The world doesn't just need more noise, it needs more people who are awake, intentional, and in full command of their path. So lead yourself powerfully. Take ownership. Be relentless with your vision and graceful with your journey. And above all, remember, when you lead your life like a CEO, everything rises to meet your standard.